Today's topic is musical affinity of humanistic Buddhism in the Philippines. Please welcome me in joining Venerable Miao Jing.
Hello, auspicious greetings. Thank you, Miss and Angela Angelia, for being our beautiful host, and Miss Saba for our technical support. The opening song, Amigo, was performed by Guangming Institute or our Sihata family at Lulai Temple, Brazil, earlier last year, before the pandemic. Acknowledging also Venerable Jue for leading the online sections. I have always felt that Venerable Jue is like a prophet. She knows exactly what we would need in the days to come for online or digital transformations of Buddhism. Taking a moment every day to check in, which are the apps of the check-in mindfulness you can download onto your cell phone to check in with yourself, so that you can check your breathing is still fresh and living well. So thank you for coming out. I saw a few people from the Philippines. We have been in lockdown since last March. So a lot of our devotees, actually all of our devotees did not come to the temple for over a year now. We asked, what is the most difficult part of the pandemic quarantine or lockdown? Our devotee would say the most difficult part is they could not come visit the temple, see the Buddha and the Sifu. So we have Dharma brother Patrick, Dharma sister teacher Nancy, Louisa Sijie, Marlene Sijie, Sheila Sijie from Cebu. And we also have Zhen Zhen Lao Si, Chun Chun Sijie, and of course, Miss Maricel as well. And I would also like to greet our new friends here online, that kamusta to all, which is how do you do in Filipino. Venerable Yong Ning was our abbot for over 30 years. She has been serving 30 years in the Philippines twice. The second time she came back to the Philippines was about 12 years ago with me on the same flight. She is like our Dharma protector, saying that she liked to see the beginning or the next stage of the Philippines. And that's why we felt that these sections is more like giving back, because Venerable Miao Zhang, who was my senior in Chongling University, has always been taking care of me when I first arrived from Canada to Taiwan. So both her and Venerable Jie Chuan have been taking care of Miss Mats as well for many years, believing in her heart, a young Filipino heart, to do what the Sifu say and keeping her from wandering too far away from Foguangsan temples. So it's a lot of thank you and sections are filled with gratitude. I would like then to take a couple more minutes to introduce my special guest, or our special guest tonight. He has lived an interesting life. I would say a legacy of what the Venerable Master Xing Yun has started in the Philippines, the musical, which has also transformed his life, which he will be sharing from being a tree into an artist, and now administrator head. So he is the handsome, our handsome director, Mr. Junrei Alayat, our Sihata #2 of the musical. I will be sharing, now that we got the introduction done, all the name mentioned. So we'll be sharing the slides. Give me a couple minutes so that I hope if you don't see anything, you let me know. So this afternoon, We are here, or this morning in the Philippines, we are here because of the musical affinities of humanistic Buddhism. In the Philippines and worldwide, this affinity has bring us together. This is Prince Sihata the musical, known as the longest run both-way productions to us in the Philippines. We will get to know three aspects of it this time. First is the standing status. It's a current status. Second, it's a spiritual aspirations. Third, it's people and its community. So it all begins with the story or the script, the musical script written by Sir Jude Kitamundok, a very young talent who was only 23 when we first met him. He has bought this book with him into silent meditations for months when he wrote the first script years ago. He has now 2 versions and composed the over 20 songs in the musical. This book was first published in 1955, written by Venerable Master Xing Yun, and reprinted over 30 times over the last 70, 60 years. The English versions was printed in 2013. How is the life of the Buddha under the pen of Venerable Master Xing Yun different? There are 2 characteristics that we found that was not found anywhere else. First is that the character of the Buddha is very human. It's like a human. So we now know that Buddha can be our teachers because it's the guiding human being or human like us, ordinary, to a path of carefreeness, to a state of serenity. Then the other characteristic of the Buddha under the pen of Venerable Master Xing Yun is the story of the Buddha is revolving, that it refutes against a certain traditional value or custom during his time. And it also so that it's see equality and compassion in his teaching of the Buddha. Then we also has written our story of Sihata the musical in 2017 in the book Mabuhay for Fei Yao Ibai. So the story of our cast and the story of the productions was written down also with the characteristic that is humanly, is related to all of us, and the track of the performance. So these are a few pictures that we have taken. The first photos is our first productions in Cebu. You notice that a lot of the costumes have the same color because these are the clothing from the men's shrine, the old cloth that we used to decorate the table and the altar and the curtains. So that was how simple the Sihata musical started years ago, over a decade ago. All of us are non-professionals when we start, but after many, many years now, I would say, and you will hear later from Sir Junrei, that we are growing because of the love of Venerable Master Xing Yun, and also because of the support of Fowang people, our Sihata community around the world. So we have the theater stage, international stage. So years ago, when the devotee would be visiting other countries for conferences, BLIA conferences, we would be inviting our counterpart or other BLIA members to visit the Philippines. When we ask, come visit us in the Philippines, many of them would shake their head. Is not safe in the Philippines because there are earthquakes, there are typhoons, and there are volcanoes, eruptions, and there are also political unsteadiness, and there are hostages, kidnapping. Yet many years now, because of our Sihata has been spreading the new aspect, or if I would say a revolt new ideas of how people would see Philippines. And now when we ask, come visit us in the Philippines, many would now say, yeah, I want to hear you again. I want to meet my old friend Sihata again. I am their fans. I like to hear them sing, and I miss their smile. So all of these new viewpoints, or get to know Philippines from a new aspect, from the artistic and the cultural aspect of our people. So the last theater is Isaac Theater in New Zealand. Then this is the map of our world tour since 2006. We have been to America twice. If you will look at the map, we would say that for a long time, 2006 until 2013. We have been traveling or performing in the Philippines and in Taiwan, on northern, medium, and southern countries of the country, part of the countries. We haven't yet to fly out of the islands. In 2013, we like to thank our head airport then, Venerable Hui Dong, and Venerable Xing Bao, then the Hui Dong Faster, to support that on the 25th anniversary of Silai Temple, we were invited to perform. So that was the first time when we landed across the Pacific Oceans to share the teachings of the Buddha, and to share as a thank you for the support of Wangsan Monastery. Then the second time we went back to US a couple of years ago. So many of you might have already heard us, seen us, know us. That's 2018 on celebrating the 30th anniversary. So that was also our honor to be back the second time to the States, across the continents that we performed, and to meet and to build affinities. So if you haven't heard us, you might got a chance. That is, you might got a chance to hear our online soundtrack. It is found on the Wikipedia. The link is provided, and all of the musical pieces, over 20 songs, was recorded here. And if you still haven't got the chance to get to know us, I have a short script that we'll be sharing. So here it is. Hope you would enjoy it.
When I see all the colors of nature, I perceive all the treasures to treasure. Just like the leaves that sway me, joy comes to me, to those who live as one. We are one. When I feel my heart beating inside me, I am still, for I know it will guide me. Just like the humming of the drums, the new of stars, when hearts can beat as one. Forget the I, we are bound together, never come undone. and brother sun, we'll find true peace as long as we are one.
So that was the third version, so if I would say. So Sir Jude Kitamundok has written the first two, and it was rewritten by Sir Paul Morales, our the third artistic director, and hence it includes the music score for an orchestra, live orchestra. So that was what was presented in the state 3 years ago. I will then continue my screen. We'll try again. Okay. The next part of the sections is on the aspirations. So who's the one that changed our life or my life? We would have to then go into the history of how relevant music arts and dance are to the spread and development of Buddhism. A brief background. If you know about heard about Dunhuang Grotto cave, 112 become one of the important cave because the painting on the murals show performers in the beautiful postures and costumes, if you would say, of the Western Pure Land as an offering to the Buddha Bodhisattva. So they are either representing the celestial being as offerers, or they would be performing with joy to share that the teachings to inspire further practice or pure practice. So in the sutra or in the thesis of great perfections of wisdom, it said that all bodhisattva, that means those who are practicing along the way towards Buddhahood, purify the Buddha land, the space. They seek out beautiful music, wishing that sentient being in that land can hear music and soften their hearts. So in the meditative or in a Buddhist practice, heart cultivation is important. We not only have to seek purity, but we have to soften it so that it can take in or observe Dharma, making it easier to transform. The heart is easier to transform, and the people or the beings are easier to transform. This is why music is an offerings for the Buddha. Again, offerings to the Buddha is not because Buddha need music. It's more because practitioners, those who are making the offerings, the offerer, the giver, require that act of homage to give rise to our purity. I will have to flip through it very quick for the next 2 slides. Because I am excited to invite Junrei to come on. So it said that there are many benefits of chanting. Chanting would involve chanting and singing, similar in the way we use our voice. Chanting particularly emphasize that the cultivations of our 6 senses, including the mind. So the 6 senses has to be one and to be together. That's why we call pacifying body and mind. So in the sutra, the great compilation sutra, it has a 10 benefit it listed. Venerable Master Xing in his articles on Buddhism and music specifically identify that when we make offerings of music, dance, and arts, we are communicating our feelings and emotions through our movement. And this would build an understanding of the teachings of our relationships and of our whereabouts, and hence arising to the harmony among all aspects, and thus connecting each other with love and peace. So when we talk about practicing the Dharma or practicing the teachings of the Buddha, it means chanting could help us to conserve. It does not drain. It helps us to conserve emotional energy. That's why when you attend the Dharma chanting or prayer, even though it's a long prayer, yet you never find those who attend would be very tired spiritually. It produces a calm thought, reduce desire, allow practitioners to illuminate their mind and see their true nature. And so finding a way into our own self is to lead up our own world and to recognize, to know who we are. And hence, it's not a tiring journey. So Prince Siddhartha, from his being born until his renunciations, cultivations and attainment, and then spreading of the Dharma before Parinirvana would never be tiring for him because is being connected with the pure mind or with the true natures and connecting with others with love and peace. So there are more benefits of chantings, as Venerable Master Xing Yun would have mentioned. And I felt that we would want one particular one. I don't know why there is a red arrow, but it landed on the right spot, the blessing of the Buddha. Number 5, right, is a mind free of fear and anxiety and improved health. I felt that I have to print it out here because pandemic all around the world, and all of us has been, it hasn't been very easy for the last whole year. It hasn't been normal. Yet human being has a way to adapt, and we are very flexible. One thing that we have is compassion, and one thing that we have is we care for each other. So with that, I would say we would find a better norm as described by Dr. Tan, our president of Kwang Minh College, or we would find a new way of living out a better life, a new post-pandemic life. I will just flip through this very quickly. So Siddhartha the musical doesn't just come from nowhere. It starts with Venerable Master Xing Yun has the idea of modernizing Buddhism. Since 1953, he was the leader of the choir group. The first producer of Buddhist music on CD, bring it up to the stage internationally. And I like you to look at the left photo on the bottom. That's Manila Cathedral in Binondo of Manila City, where the Sifu was invited. The Buddhist hymn choir was invited to perform in the church. And also the other one in Germany. Then here, I want to mention the sounds of, after many years, right? He has, in 2003, has a Sound of the Human World to bring in a music composer from around the world. And that's when we met Sir Jude. So the one in pink are performers and winners from the Philippines. So then after many years of bringing Affinity together, Siddhartha has always been practicing on a marble floor. And now we have a theater, a wood floor for dance studio and a wood floor for our Siddhartha theater in the building. Junrei can talk more about it. And I'll quickly flip to the next slides. that is, we are not just a family. When we are going out, we always say Siddhartha family, Guangming family, and BIF family. Now, when all of the family comes together, we are a community. So this is a Fo Wang San community, just like you and I together now online across the Pacific. We are Fo Wang Ren, the Fo Wang San community. So we grow. We grow our passions, our compassions, our wisdom through Buddhist religious practice and spiritual understanding. And the next part, how did now, how is our Fo Wang family or our Guangming College or our Siddhartha family community comes together to practice what we are good in, 3 acts of goodness, to put it in actions for the pandemic care. So at this point, I would invite Sir Junrei to come on. He is our handsome Siddhartha number 2. And he will share with us. Sir Junrei.
Hello everyone, that's Jisang. So first and foremost, I'd like to check on everybody if I am clear and audible in your end. If I am, please do give me a thumbs up. All right, wonderful, wonderful. So my name is Junrei Alayakiak, and I'm from the Philippines. And first and foremost, I am very, very happy and thrilled to be invited in this beautiful talk. Thank you very much, Venerable Miao Chang, for creating this beautiful circle inside out. Even though the pandemic has prevented us to be close to each other, but the online platforms have kept us connected. All right. All right. Okay. So for this evening, it's evening there in the US and it's morning here in the Philippines. I am tasked to give a testimony of my experience being in the Siddhartha the musical. Aside from an artist of the musical, I was also appointed by Venerable Master Xing as the ambassador for Sanhao here in the Philippines. And so I want to say that when I started Siddhartha the musical, it was in 2012, and my very first role is a tree, like a tree. So there are a few minutes in the play where I stand still and I hold my hands like this and pretending to be a tree. And then if I am not a tree, then I'll be carrying the Prince Siddhartha, and sometimes I become an insect. And during the time, I really enjoyed that moment being on stage. Philippines and the Filipino people are very musical people. And we are so in love with music. We love arts. And we can easily communicate through arts. And that is the main reason why I auditioned for the musical play. I have zero idea about Humanistic Buddhism. But after joining the play for several times and after immersing myself to the rehearsals and to the Fo Wang San Humanistic Buddhism tradition, I have come to realize that I have entered, I've allowed myself to enter in a place or in a position where I don't only learn arts, but I also learn a lot about life. And Humanistic Buddhism has taught me that. And it was through the musical play that gave me a lot of awareness. And the next year, after becoming a tree in the musical play, I played one of the 5 bhikkhu and the 5 followers of Siddhartha. And I was asked to shave my head. And it is my first time to have my head shaven. Because I have developed some dedication to the performance, and also the monastics have guided us very well. The importance of not only portraying the role, but also to let the message came across to our audience. I have agreed to shave my head. And it felt really, really weird in the beginning because even though it's very hot, it seems to be so cool. There is, the air, whooshes on your head directly. And I was also given a singing role already. And I was playing the role of 5 Bhikkhu for 2 years. And then in 2015, there was a new director for the musical play. And the play has developed into 2 parts already. So the first part, the version of the musical, happened from the birth of Siddhartha until the enlightenment. But it was in 2015 that we added the second act, that is from enlightenment until the journey of the Buddha until Nirvana. And when I auditioned, I was giving my best. And because I was also get used to the atmosphere of Fo Guangshan, I became a follower then. And it was my surprise that I was given a role as Prince Siddhartha. And it is now a different story because for the past few years, I have been portraying a role on the side, and I can explore my character. I can portray different character, but this time I have to represent the life of Prince, and because of that opportunity of having given that character, it delved me further to study Buddhism. That is when I had a very intensive immersion with Fo Guangshan. I have attended lectures, and my personal trainer then was Venerable Yung Kwang, who is the manager of our Siddhartha the Musical. And she taught me how to meditate. She taught me how to the dharmas, and she gave me a lot of books to read. A lot of books to read. And majority of these books are books written by Venerable Master Xing. And we want to, show to others how Venerable Master Xing view Siddhartha and view Buddha according to his writing. And I was given a role. I was very nervous on my first performance. And the monastics and are there. And there's one very comforting word that Venerable Yung Kwang shared to me, and that is, this moment will not happen again. And if you do not enjoy, or if you do not savor this moment, it will just pass like that. And this is a very big opportunity that you're taking. And always remember that Buddha have chosen you. And I was like, huh? Buddha have chosen me to be in here? And but that remained a question in 2015, but I still performed anyway. Until it was in 2016 that I have developed, my director gave me the role of the Buddha. And Prince Siddhartha and the great Buddha is 2 different characters. They have different polarities. And when I learned about Buddha, I then again went back to my intensive research. Now trying to learn about Dharma. And it's not only learning the Dharma, but really applying it. And Venerable Yung Kwang told me, you have to be vegetarian. So I have been eating, I am not vegetarian for since birth. And I said, and she said, you have to exemplify and live in order the life of the Buddha in order for you to portray it properly. And to my surprise, and with the help of the community around me, I was convinced to be vegetarian. I became vegetarian for since 2016, and it went for a very long time. And it was 2018 rather, that I was now given a chance to become the director of the play. Um, the play is Siddhartha the musical for children or for kids. And we created this children's theater version of this play that is meant and designed for the kids. I learned, and it was the idea of the Venerable Master, that it came from the idea of Venerable Master Singyan that during the old times in Ilan, Venerable Master Singyan actually created a choir of kids. And if we want to propagate Dharma, then we have to start with the young, And we know for the fact that Philippines is well populated with people with Roman Catholic religion, but the easiest way for us to reach to them is creating a play that would let them understand the perspective of Buddhism. And so it is our delight that we traveled around the Philippines through the help of Department of Education and the 3 Acts of Goodness program, bringing the kids to very remote areas in the Philippines. So you can only imagine that from an international stage, we went to Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, United States. Now we went to a very remote mountainous areas of the Philippines to bring Siddhartha the musical. And that experience really taught us so much humility. And, and it is very heartwarming. And I feel a little bit emotional thinking about it. When kids actually are very focused on watching on the show, and when they actually respond to you, and because after the play, we give them an evaluation form. What is your most favorite part of the play? What did you learn from the play? And they actually filled out very, very sensible answers. And most importantly, the exposure that Fo Guangshan gave to these children, because the remote areas and mountainous areas of the Philippines, by the way, we have 7,100 plus islands in the Philippines, and it is divided by seas. And so for us to go there is really a very good opportunity for them to watch, because they don't have this kind of exposure unless they are living in the city. And we are very happy because that actually paved the way for us to invite more students to our Guangming College. So because of the play that we brought in the mountainous area, it has stirred a lot of interest from our young to enroll in our Buddhist college and our Performing Arts College. And 2008, it went for 2 years. And that version was also brought to Indonesia and Malaysia. And we went back to US. And the last performance that we did was in South America. And after all of these things, I saw how I have developed from a tree to becoming someone who advocates for 3 acts of goodness, and for someone who believes in the teachings of Buddhism and wants these teachings to come across to my people, because I have seen how our caste and how Buddhism have changed my life. And I have developed a personal pledge that we want to present this option to a lot of people, especially right now that there are little faith in a lot of things. So this and all has been a very emotional, memorable, and beautiful journey. And this is all because of Venerable Master Singyan. When Venerable Master Singyan saw the musical play, he said that this is going to be the future of Buddhism and the future of Dharma propagation. There's one few words that Venerable Master Singyan said that I always remember. In a Dharma talk, you can invite 200, to 500 people in one setting, and we can talk about the Dharma. But when you invite, when you do a performance or a musical play, you can actually invite 1,000 to 2,000 to 10,000 of people watching a play, letting them understand about Buddhism, and that is already Dharma propagation. It is the planting seeds of goodness, and that has always inspired us to continue. Venerable Master Singin gave us this beautiful gift of a school. We have now a school here in Cebu, in Manila, and in Tagaytay that is solely dedicated for performing arts and for Dharma propagation. And we are very happy and honored to have this gift because Venerable Master Singin doesn't know Philippines and the Filipino, not everyone, but he has a very particular dream for us. And it is he, a Filipino, should be the one bridging this. So I am staying here to help. And so I wish to deliver more things, but I think we're running out of time. And so I want.
And his line is off. That's the internet in the Philippines.
You information about our journey in Siddhartha the Musical. Gangshe, maraming salamat, dagang salamat. Thank you very much.
You're muted, Venerable, if you can unmute yourself.
Thank you. Thank you, Sir Junrei, and the support of BLIA from around the world, and especially here in the Philippines. So whenever we stage a performance, they would be the one that run around, drive around, getting the food ready and getting the ticket and the visa ready so that things would be prepared for the group to perform aboard. I think one thing that that we see in Junrei as a representative, our cast over the last decade, we have over 200 young performers like Junrei from the province. It has always been a Cebu production. Never would we thought that we would be performing in Manila, the cultural center of the Philippines. And never would we thought that we would perform in national theaters or stages around the world. So thank you very much again, our 4-1 community, for your love. Junrei has been very brave. He was a nurse. He is a nurse, a register, and become an artist. Then took on the responsibility to become a writer, a script writer, and take on the role to develop his administrative skills. Never would I know, right? An artist can plan and organize. I see Junrei work very hard together with the team, and he led a very strong team. So now we not just have one performing arts school, but we have 2, and now 3 taking Manila campus as well. So again, thank you, Venerable Master Singin, for seeing and for trusting us. And thank you, BLIA, for doing that. I have a couple slideshow that I will run through that. And I know that we have 3 minutes left. All right, so these are the photos. Junrei during the pandemic, not only have to take care to make sure that our online classes. So if you are interested, Junrei has excellent teachers, instructors online that you can join us on our online platform, our classes. So here he stay in the province because kids are not going to school yet since last year. So he ran the tutorial program with the children in the village. Then I want to mention that Venerable Master Xing remind all of us that Guangming College students, or actually it's a full scholarships program, that our college scholar need support. Pandemic has already taken away our job, our health, our traveling plans, our school. our economic, and a lot of other aspects of life. But Venerable Master Xing remind us that we shall not let it take away educations. So program in Guangming College, led by now Dr. Michael Tan, continue. We through overcoming difficulties, we managed to send a laptop and internet card to each of our students who were quarantined in their own province at home. So they have been working very hard to make sure that when they come back to school again or after the pandemic, that they are not behind and that they still see hope in performing arts and that they have a life skill and educational skills. So what is it that keep us all going, the Forum community? That's because from the very beginning, we emphasize on life educations through do good deeds, say good words, think good thought, having a heart filled with gratitude and compassion. So that has always been our model and our practice. So for one people, Buddhas like international associations, since last March, Venerable Master Xing Yun remind us that flower blossoms in 4 seasons when we work hard, when we plant the right seed, when we nurture the right conditions. So the future is going to be well. One thing, right? The thing that what are we planting? The seed of Dharma. There is the online Triple Gems ceremony. We plant the seed to care for our earth, our Mother Earth. The tree planting program that we are launching, the Pure Green Foundations. So I want to quote from Dr. Tan that humanistic Buddhism is like a board that takes us across. Is very scientific, is also human relevance to human living. So the new program that you will be seeing in Guangming College would be the life educations to emphasize further the Buddhist values and philosophy. Then we have the new program, the sport science. Dr. Tan make a short recording last year for the Fowangsan Oriental Dharma Forum, which is still available online if you are interested. So lastly, so we all pray every day, to Guanyin Bodhisattva for the safety from the coronavirus, that everyone will be safe and well. So that would be my last slide tonight. And Miss and Halika.
Thank you so much, Venerable Miao Ying, and thank you, Yun Rei, for sharing with us today. Yes, Venerable, do you have something else to share?
I actually has invited Dr. Joy. Dr. Joyce was our 3 acts of goodness volunteers and also a mentor. She has been away in Saudi for 3 years as a frontliner. She is a teacher, nurse trainer. And if I could, supposed to have 3 minutes for her to talk how she could give us her pandemic care for herself, being so far away for such a long time, could not be home with families. And she was sick for a while. And if Dr. Joyce, if you can speak, so we could see your face and you could pop up.
Jishang, everyone. I can say Assalamu alaikum from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. So it's like, no, it's 6 o'clock in the morning now. So yeah, it was a pleasure and a great privilege to be, to join this worthy meeting. And I've always been looking forward to join, humanistic Buddhism lectures and like that, especially that, there is a big time difference between Saudi Arabia and the Southeast Asia. So thank you, Venerable Miao Jing, for inviting me. Yeah, how I had, I had been immersed in humanistic Buddhism is it started when I joined the humanistic Buddhism educational immersion in Thailand Taiwan. I was then in the Philippines during that time. And I was given the opportunity also by Mabuhay Temple, Foguangshan, Philippines, to be a volunteer of our 3 Acts of Goodness schools in the Philippines. So since then, I was really fully immersed with, I have not gotten into a formal education about humanistic Buddhism, but by merely immersing yourself with the activities of the temple and all the activities, volunteer activities, you can really understand how humanistic Buddhism would be applicable to your daily lives, which I can really share that here in Saudi Arabia, it's a totally different culture and a totally different part of the world. And during this pandemic, it was really, really a challenge. I am the regional nursing director of one private medical group in Saudi, and our company has also has not been spared for the challenges of this pandemic. And I always tell to our nurses, okay, that I always get my foundation of teaching my nurses from what I've learned with humanistic Buddhism. Like I always tell them, and even I do by myself, this meditation in this very fast-paced environment of healthcare, we rarely even have time for ourselves. Sometimes we don't even have time to go to do our personal things, But then taking a pause for a moment is very important. This even breathing exercises, especially when I will allocate this nurse to the COVID ward, and before they use their PPEs and everything, I always remind them to do inhale, exhale, and do some breathing exercises, even for few minutes, 5 minutes, or even 2 minutes if they run out of time. And this has been, according to the nurses, this has been, helping them a lot for, pull themselves together before going to another battle, something like that. This is what they told me. And also I teach them how to, to just focus in the moment, not to be so worried about the future. Just focus on the moment, get your work done, and then understand what is your purpose, why you became a nurse. This is all, I have taken this foundation from humanistic Buddhism. And I can really emphasize that humanistic Buddhism is not a religion, it's a way of life. And as long as we know how to use them well in our daily existence, we can really put value and more meaning to our existence, and influence other people as well. I hope I have shared something. Thank you, Shifu, for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you, and you be safe.
Thank you, Shifu.
Thank you again for tonight's special guests who were sharing with us today. Dr. Teresita Joy de Catoria, who just spoke, Junrei Alayakiak, and Venerable Miao Jing. Sorry for my pronunciation. And now I will pass it to Venerable Miao Zhang, and then at the end I'll do an announcement. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for attending, and I would like to have special thanks to Venerable Miao Jing, the Abbess of the Philippines, Mabuhay Temple, and of course like the guest speakers too. So it's very good historical recap of like the whole development of Buddhism in a way, starting from the Buddha sharing the Dharma and the recitation of the Posada, like Full Moon Day, New Moon Day, and eventually we have developed into chanting. And now in the recent modern Buddhism, we have musical singing the Dharma in a way. So I think like Buddhism and music, it has a very strong correlation with the singing. We can remember the wordings. We can remember the Dharma better. So thank you again for sharing so that everyone has a whole picture of what is going on, what is the Philippines is doing to share the seeds of the 3 acts of goodness, and also to share the Dharma through music. Yeah. So thank you everyone for attending. And let us end this session with dedication of merit. Okay. So if you could join me with the dedication of merit by joining your palms. May kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity pervade all worlds. May we cherish and build affinities to benefit all beings. May chant, Pure Land, and precepts inspire equality and patience. May our humility and gratitude give rise to great vows. Amitofo. And prayer hope that everyone continue to stay safe in no matter where you are around the world. Bye. Take care. Thank you again.